Hey there, welcome back to Embodied Astrology. My name is Renee, if we haven't met before. It is Scorpio season, and oh my gosh, this season is bringing so much water. It's really quite a deluge, and I think a lot of folks are going to have a lot going on this season, so I really hope that these readings are supportive for you and whatever you have going on. Remember that horoscopes are general readings, so they may not resonate fully for everyone or with everything. Make sure to take what works and leave the rest, and also make sure to listen to readings differently for your different placements. My readings are for your sun, moon, and rising signs, and they are going to be most accurate for rising signs. But I will say that if you have a late degree rising, like 20 to 30 degrees of the zodiac sign your ascendant is in, you might also want to listen to the reading for the sign that follows yours. Just give it a try, see if it speaks to you. Okay, so some of you know that I took a break over the summer and fall, which meant that I pre-recorded Gemini through Libra season. That was the last 4 months of readings back in June. And now my break is over and I'm back. And I will tell you that taking a break from my usual rhythms and shaking up the schedules in my life was an excellent choice. It allowed me space and perspective and rest, and I feel refreshed and excited to read for you again. And this is a great thing because I'm also about to start working on one of my favorite annual projects, which is my year ahead readings. I've been doing year ahead readings now for 6 years, and every time it is such a powerful experience for me to map out the astrology of the upcoming 12 months, meditate with that map for each of the signs, and work with readings that incorporate embodiment, meditation, and visualization with all kinds of other things like forecasting and practical advice for making the most of the opportunities and working skillfully with the challenges. So if you love my readings, this is your chance to pre-order your 2026 year ahead at a discount for the entirety of Scorpio season. That's October 22nd till November 21st. When you purchase 2 annual readings, you can get a 3rd reading free. And this is great news if you have different sun, moon, and rising signs, and also great news if you have astro lovers in your life and you're looking for a cute gift to share. This sale won't last, and as of Sagittarius season, the readings will go back to their normal price, so make sure to take advantage now and click the link in the show notes to pre-order 2026 readings for all your signs. All right. So I'm going to take a quick break for ads. Thank you for your patience. Ads help me pay the bills and keep me offering free content like these readings. So you know how to fast forward. And if you want to support my work and help me do more of what I do, please make sure to like, share, subscribe, comment, and consider leaving a tip. And definitely stick around. Your Scorpio season reading is coming up next. Hi, Leo. Welcome to Scorpio season. I tried to not be in my stuffed animal sweater for this reading. I really tried. I wanted to look cute for you. I was like, I don't need to put on this extra layer. But the truth is, Leo, is that I'm cold. And it's Scorpio season. And you're Leos. And this time of year, I don't know how you're feeling. I'm like, okay. All right, like I admit it, the summer is over. As a Leo, I find this to be upsetting. And I do like the fall. I'm in the Northern Hemisphere. I do like the fall, clearly. I'm in the Northern Hemisphere. It's brilliant. It's like, it's beautiful. Scorpio makes things intense. The way that the darkness saturates color is something that I really appreciate because in Leo season, everything is really bright. But sometimes the sun washes things out. And so in Scorpio season, the shadows get longer. Things are like more robust, in the feeling of intensity in certain colors. I appreciate that. But it's cold. Anyway, I don't know. I'm starting there because Scorpio is a 90-degree aspect to Leo. And it's the first square, right? After we come out of Leo season, this is the quarter of the year marking from Leo season. And if you, like I, live in the Northern Hemisphere, then Leo season is the middle of summer. And by the time we get to Scorpio season, it's clear that the darkness is coming and that we are moving into winter. Now, if you're my Southern Hemisphere folks out there, then you get to be in the Taurus of it all, and we are moving towards spring. But maybe there are other ways that you can resonate with all that I just said. All right, Leo, we're going to get into your Scorpio season reading. So I'm glad you're here, and Scorpio season feels intense for the collective, just generally, because there's so much happening in water in Scorpio season. The sun, of course, is going to be in Scorpio. The day that we start Scorpio season, the moon is in Scorpio, Mars is in Scorpio, Mercury is in Scorpio. Mars and Mercury just had a conjunction 2 days before Scorpio season started. Mercury then started its retro shade, its pre-retrograde shadow, in the kind of activation of that conjunction with Mars. Over the next couple of weeks, Mercury will be traveling direct until November 9th, and then it stations retrograde in Sagittarius, in your fellow fire sign, and it goes back into Scorpio, where it will station direct. I feel like I just said that wrong. Mercury stations retrograde. I hope that's what I said. November 9th. It goes back into Scorpio, and then it stations direct November 29th. As we get into Sagittarius season. So the entirety of Scorpio season is full of a Mercury retrograde. This Mercury retrograde, as an entirety of its cycle, begins in Scorpio. That's where it first starts to cast its shade. And then the direct will happen in Scorpio. So Mercury is in and out of water there. Then we have Jupiter stationing retrograde in Cancer, basically the same day that Mercury is stationing retrograde in Sagittarius. Cancer is the sign that comes before yours. And then we have Saturn and Neptune both preparing to station direct, and that won't happen until Sagittarius season. But because Saturn and Neptune are so slow, they are kind of just hanging out where they are going to be stationing direct. And when planets do that, when they hang out at their station degrees, which Jupiter will be basically for a good most of Scorpio season, actually, like Jupiter will be very slow. Saturn and Neptune will be doing this. It's kind of like they're just pausing and letting their full weight drop there. Or, I mean, that's inaccurate because space science, astronomers listening to this just walked away because they're like, oh my God, this is why. It's not really like that. Retrograde is a visual phenomena. It has to do with relative speed differences between the planets. But when a planet is in its station, what it does is it appears to slow down and not move. And through the symbolic language of astrology, you might think about this as lingering somewhere and letting the impact of wherever we are really get absorbed. If you've had acupuncture, you might think about it as when the acupuncturist is like turning the needle, right, to really get your chi going, and it's like zinging, and they're just like, sorry, or maybe they put some of that stuff on it, the moxa, and they start to burn it, and it's really activating this particular point. I think you get my point. Over the course of Scorpio season, this is happening in all the water signs. And my meaning making that I'm doing for that, take what works for you, is that for Leos, there are some really big shifts emotionally and psychologically. The water signs rule the parts of your chart that are the most deeply intimate. They are the most personal. They are also the most transpersonal in some ways because they deeply connect you through bonds and sensitivity with other people. They connect you through lineage and family. They connect you through sex and intimacy and vulnerability. They connect you through trauma. They connect you through psychology. They connect you through shared resources. They connect you because you're sensitive and for whatever reason, you're being affected. But this Scorpio season is also a period of time where I think that a lot of you are understanding a lot more about how you're affected. And because you're understanding differently, you can make different choices. And I think that a lot of you really are making really different choices about things right now. And I think that this Mercury retrograde is going to illuminate a lot of choice making that you get to do. And that what's happening with Jupiter, Saturn, and Neptune really speaks to shifting sentiments and consciousness that you're having, but also that the people that you're dealing with are having, and that is happening kind of in the general atmosphere around you. So my kind of general overview for you for Scorpio season is, wow, this is a period of time where I feel you doing a lot of intense transformation work. It's also a period of time where a lot of things are happening under the surface, and someone looking at you from the outside might think nothing is happening. You might feel like nothing is happening. In fact, a lot of you might feel like things are happening so slow, or like you're never going to get out of this. Like, oh my God, like Renee's talking about this transformation, but like I've been in this place for like fucking ever, and when's it going to shift? Like Scorpio season could be giving that as well, but that's actually when you're changing the most. It's like kind of like this pressure is building, and the intensity of something, and the way that you're stuck in it, and the way that you're held in it, and the way that you have to focus inside of it, and the way that that acupuncture needle is just getting turned and turned and turned. You're like in it in Scorpio season. You're like, because you're Leo. You're like, oh my God, Scorpio. It's so intense. I don't know. I'm projecting on you. Maybe you're not like that, but that's the vibe. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about timing. So Mercury and Mars are together as the Mercury as the Mercury retrograde starts. So Mercury and Mars together, setting the tone for the whole Mercury retrograde. The day that Mercury stations retrograde, it will be conjunct Mars again in Sagittarius. This isn't normal that Mercury is conjunct Mars just all the time, especially not that quickly in repetition. It only happens if there's a retrograde. And it's notable that these conjunctions are happening with the shadow and the retrograde starting. The feeling that I have about this is you want to be really mindful about what your actions are. And in the Leo charts right now, the feeling that I get is a lot of you are looking for escape as we get into Scorpio season. A lot of you are like, I can't deal with whatever this is. It's too intense. It's too slow. It's too freaking watery. I got to get out of here. You might be fantasizing about taking a vacation. You might be making the plans to take a vacation. You might be already on vacation. When you listen to this, a lot of you are like, I have to shift something right now. And I feel that there is necessary urgency about it. Now, urgency is problematic a lot, especially when we're working with a Mercury retrograde, especially when Mercury's messing around with Mars in its retrograde. The reason that it's problematic is that something isn't yet thought through, and that the feeling of the thing, the emotion of it all, is going to compel you into some kind of action that you haven't really thought through. Now, maybe you need to be compelled, and maybe you need to be provoked, and this is the energy that is going to do it for you. But I will say that working with astrology, you might just consider the timing of things and know that by first week of January 2026, Mercury and Mars will meet up once again. And this time they'll both be direct. This time they will both be renewing cycles with the sun. So new synodic cycles for Mercury, Venus, and Mars will all be starting in Capricorn. And what that tells me is that by January, you will have gotten somewhere where you have more order to things. You have more clarity. You understand like the practical nature of something. You've worked some things out. But between now and then, and especially over Scorpio and Sagittarius season, I think a lot of you are needing to like kind of check your energy and check in with what you want to do with your energy, because a lot of you have some really big plans, or you want to be making big plans, and you should be, but there are fundamental, core, internal, personal, interpersonal things that need your attention before you can get going on this next leg of some kind of journey that you want to get going on. So the first bit of Mercury, the first bit of Scorpio season, as Mercury is in its pre-retrograde shadow, its retro shade, if you will, from the 22nd of October until November 9th, this is a period of time where you are moving into some kind of next steps with something. The messages that I'm coming through for the Leo collective that tunes in with me include all the following things plus more. So take what works, leave the rest. Some of you are, you're in early stages of some kind of new creative project or idea. And you're in the visioning of something. Like you're not really in the practical parts of it yet. You're in the ideation of it. And it feels exploratory. Some of you are falling in love. Leo, you have some spicy energy in your chart right now. I feel that a lot of you just want to fall in love. Like this is also part of the feeling of escapism a little bit, or like, get me out of here. It's like your energy wants to expand a lot, and maybe other people can help you expand it. And, you know, we can fall in love with all kinds of people. So this doesn't have to be sexual or romantic. You could be having friend crushes. You could be having collaborator crushes. Some of you might feel really just inspired by someone or something. You might feel fired up about someone or something. You might be falling in love with yourself, Leo, because you're having a glow up in 2025 into 2038. It's just begun. My cats, my kittens, like you have just started your glow up. You're coming out of like forever, okay? Like forever since 2008, you're coming out of just not really having everything that you need to glow. You're coming out of a period of time that it just hasn't been your best lighting, you know, like you have just not been, you have not had everything that you need to do all the glowing that you want to do. But Leos, things are going to be changing in 2026. And I think that a lot of you are like ready for that and you're feeling excited about it. And so there might be some kind of way that you are also feeling your own energy start to expand and get ready. Look, I'm just getting warmer talking about all of that. I can take off my stuffed animal sweatshirt and not be wearing it for your Leo season reading, even though it's dark, because it gets dark so early in the Northern Hemisphere in Scorpio season. I digress. Okay, the other thing that I'm thinking for some of you is that some of you are wanting to expand your family. And I don't know what this means for you. This is not true for everybody, but some of you are wanting to expand your family or expand your home, or you're wanting to change your family or change your home some kind of way. You might be thinking about new additions. Maybe you want to get a pet, because I'm sure that's how you want to expand your family. No, just kidding. Some of you might want to have kids. Some of you might want to get pets. Some of you might want to move. Some of you might want to be changing up your domestic situation. Maybe you want to live alone. You know, there's kind of like some kind of thing where you're really feeling into how does your most personal, how do the most personal aspects of your life that really have to do with you and your private space, you and your you time, you when you come home to yourself, how do you want that to feel? What do you need in that space? Who do you want in that space? What are the practices and the rituals and the ideas, and how do you want to grow together, and how do you want to zhuzh things up? Like, these are some themes that are coming up for me as well. So the first, it's a little less than 3 weeks, October 22nd until November 9th. You are moving forward with some kind of plans, but these plans need to be slow moving plans. And this is where I'm going to urge and encourage caution. You are not ready to fully dive into this new project. You are not ready to fully make these plans. And who knows who you're falling in love with, but I don't think you know them that well yet. So you are not ready to just like dive in head first. you need to feel things out. And I think that you know this. I think that you are really experiencing some important and palpable and powerful shifts when it comes to how you assess and discern what is the give and take. What are you setting up in your intimacies and relationships, and how are you working with your own energy? And another way to say this is I think that a lot of you are becoming a lot more honest with yourselves, first and foremost. And this process of becoming more honest is also you becoming a lot more accountable with your own energy and valuing yourself differently, because you understand that if you have energy for something, then you really want to show up, and you want to show up with your best self. And if you don't have energy for something, you don't want to string something along. You don't want to breadcrumb it. You don't want to be breadcrumbed. You want clarity. And this is a hard one, discernment for you. And I think it's in process throughout Scorpio season. You want clarity. And in order to have clarity, there has to be courage. There has to be the willingness to actually be honest. And true honesty is actually incredibly scary for a lot of us all the time, and specifically in certain circumstances, because true honesty really puts you into the unknown, especially with certain kinds of circumstances. So you might be in situations where you're really feeling a kind of way, and you need to be upfront about that. And that will have a consequence, and you don't know what the consequences will be. And so this is where I also really want to encourage caution and temperance. Don't let your mind run away with worst case scenarios. Don't get in your own way by imagining that you know what will happen. And in order for you to be honest with yourself, Leo, you have to do the work of emotional literacy, right? Like you have to actually really be responsible with your own feelings. You have to know how you feel. You have to be able to manage your emotions. And when I say manage them, I don't mean control them, but I mean work with them, right? Emotions can be powerful, like massive experiences, and not working with them can include everything from being extremely reactive and unconscious in our reactions to like really, suppressing them and avoiding them, which then leads to numbing and disassociation and resentment and falseness and living outside of our authenticity. And then they're still there anyway, and then they're going to come back for you. So the work of emotional authenticity, of honesty, is your project. And as we move towards the retrograde stations, we are moving through the Taurus new moon, which is on November 5th. And then just a few days later, Uranus returns to Taurus. It's been in Gemini for the last few months. This is its last visit to Taurus for the next 80 something years. It came into Taurus in 2018. By April of next year, it will be on and into Gemini, and it won't be back to Taurus for like 84 years. So since 2018, with Uranus in this part of your chart, a lot of you have been, you've been in some kind of process, I feel like, with what you're doing with your life. And you've been trying to do things differently. You've been trying to march to the beat of your own drum, as they say. A lot of times this has felt compulsive and intuitive. Sometimes you might have really, what's the word I'm looking for? Classic Uranian word, disrupted. Sometimes you disrupted your own situation. And later you were like, oh my gosh, why did I do that? But you needed to do it. Over these last 7 years, you have needed to not feel stuck in other people's paradigms. You've needed to not feel stuck in your own paradigm. You've needed to innovate and update and really try and get your life to look the way that it looks when you are living your own life and kind of taking responsibility for your own choices and being creative and not following other people's rules, etc. But all of that is also extremely tiring, and you've probably had to make a lot of adjustments. And I think that many of you are getting to a place where you're ready for some more steadiness in the way that you're living your life, but you're also getting to a place where you recognize that the steadiness that you want and can sustain will be in part at least due to the experimentation and the inventiveness and the disruptions that you've experienced in the last 7 years. If you didn't experience all that, you wouldn't really be where you are right now. And I feel that where you are right now is actually really focused on your stability. And your stability is emotional. So there are material components. A lot of you are definitely focused on financial stability, worldly stability. As much as anybody can feel stable in 2025 on Earth, that's a fantasy, right? But it's like you are trying to create stability for yourself. And I think that a lot of you really recognize that true stability is internal stability. And internal stability is not rigid, it's not stuck, it's not controlling, it's self-response able. It is you being able to work with the fluctuations, the ups and downs, the ins and outs, the stressful moments, the wonderful moments. They come back to back sometimes. And how can you kind of be there in a way that allows you to move with it and not get sent into these cycles of reactivity that I think a lot of you have been navigating in some way over the last 7 years. Like sometimes you feel really compelled towards something or really, propelled away from something else. And like you're learning to be more chill with the way that like you're experiencing expansion, contraction, the need for change, for innovation, for experimentation and adventure, and the sense of freedom in your life. And you are becoming more stable. You might not feel like that in Scorpio season, because it's all this water, but I guarantee, Leo, you are becoming a lot more stable. So November 9th, Mercury stations retrograde. It's in a conjunction with Mars. Jupiter is stationing retrograde at the same time. These retrogrades for me are huge, like, hey, Leo, they're billboards. What are you doing with your energy? Like, that's the question I have. What are you doing with your life force, with your creativity, with your passion? What are you doing with your energy? Your energy is finite. You do not have endless energy, my friend. And so many of us squander our lives being obsessed with unimportant things and caught all the way up in bullshit. You don't need to do that though. You are here for a different kind of life, Leo, and you are making some changes. And I feel that these retrogrades are really getting you deep into the heart of your question about what are you doing with your energy and what do you want to be doing with your energy? Because you want to get freed up from something. And I don't know what you want to get freed up. It's going to be different for all of you. Some of you want to get freed up from your anxieties and insecurities and experiences of trauma and mistrust. You want to move into some different chapter of your life where you are not thwarted by emotional residue of what happened in the past. You want to get free of that. Some of you want to get free of limiting circumstances that have to do with entanglements with other energies. These could be relationship energies, partners, family members, friends, colleagues, etc. For some of you, these energies are not even in your day-to-day experiences. They are energies that maybe are ancestral or societal, or like they're happening in some kind of way and they feel very real. But there's also a way that they are not embodied, but they have been internalized by you and they're embodied in you and you're aware of that and you want to get free of them. Some of you are in circumstances that literally, like the circumstances themselves are not allowing you freedom right now. Like you are hung up with some kinds of things. You're going through the nitty gritty of detail-oriented processes where you're trying to figure out stuff that feels emotionally loaded. So I'll give you my own personal example. Leo Sun, Leo Rising. I'm like looking ahead at this map and knowing that I'm inside of a home that is being renovated in like the slowest possible way. I don't know why. We could talk about it maybe if you want to know. I've got some ideas. It's been so slow. Literally, I'm like completely baffled. But by the end of the year, it will be done. And the initial problems that were the reason why all of this needed to happen have been hopefully cleared out. So maybe some of you out there are in similar circumstances where some aspect of your life has been exploded and you're just in the mess of it. And the mess is only going to stay a mess until it gets dealt with. And dealing with it just takes time. And you want to get free of this, but you're not right now. Okay? So take what works, leave the rest. Not everything is for everyone. What pings for you inside of that description, Leo? Does anything? Do you feel contained some way in your energy? Do you feel a little restless? These retrogrades are going to turn the volume up on that restlessness in a great way, okay? So Mercury is going to station retrograde the same time as Jupiter. For some of you, this is going to feel like plans not working out, okay? For some of you, it's like the person that you're all crushed out on just turns out to be like not what you thought, or they're not available, or you're not available, or whatever. People are people. You know, it's like there's a little bit of a feeling of like, ew, as the retrogrades start. And it could be right around when they start. It might be a little later, closer to the new moon in Scorpio. At that point, Mercury will be moving back into Scorpio. And the new moon on the 19th of November, whew, that's a strong one. So for my Leos out there who feel stuck right now, just know that if you feel extra stuck, leading up to that new moon on November 19th, if you're just like, I'm trying not to predict for myself right now, but you know, I don't know. Not everybody's going to feel stuck. It could feel kind of dense though. But the thing is that the day after the new moon, Mercury makes its inferior conjunction to the sun. We have a cazimi. Then the sun opposes Uranus. We get a sextile between Uranus and Neptune right around the same time. And then Sagittarius season starts. So there is this feeling of things maybe feeling like extra crunchy, extra stuck, extra intense, because that's the way out, right? Like the only way out is through. Your breakdowns lead to your breakthroughs. Things have to get like really pressurized in order to create. It's literally how the universe was born. So take that any way you want to, but I feel for a lot of you that you just need to keep this in mind, okay, throughout Scorpio season. You just need to keep it in mind that this is a period of time that is meant to compress you. It's meant to squeeze you from all sides. And in the squeezing, it's meant to actually bring you so deeply into your own truth. How you can work the best this season with this energy is by allowing that squeezing to bring you very deeply into your own truth. Now, your own truth, Leo, it is not rigid, it is not mental, and it is not trying to control anything that you cannot control, including other people and including the outcome of anything. What you can be with in a way that gives you grace. I'm not going to outright say you can control this because you can't. But what you can be with in a way that gives you grace and where you can develop skill and maturity is with how you're feeling and what is happening in the realms of feelings. There is a lot of information right now in the emotional plane. And the emotional plane has all of the confusion, but also all of the answers that we need. And it is all swirling together. In order to get through this time, what we have to do is actually pause, go deeper, and really tune in to what this time is asking us to feel. I don't need to tell you how many incredible heartbreaks and tragedies are happening in the world right now. I don't need to tell you how many reasons there are to feel scared of something. You know all the reasons. What I'm going to ask you, Leo, is, are you letting yourself feel? Are you letting yourself be a person right now on planet Earth? If you are used to constantly moving into action, having something to do about it, oh, you're going to go help somebody out. Oh, now you're going to activist this. You're going to organize that. You're going to do this, do that. If that is your MO, which a lot of Leos, a lot of fire signs, that's our MO, is to like be in action and to help bring light and, you know, life to things because we're ruled by the sun. I'm just going to say that earlier today, I was taking a walk and noticing a spider web. And it was in the shade, but this shaft of sunlight had come down and it illuminated the web in the most beautiful, exquisite way. And I really had a moment of feeling this is what Leo energy needs to do in Scorpio season, right? Like we are ruled by the sun, Leos. But it's Scorpio season. It's the season of shadows. It's the season of growing darkness. It's the season of spooky season, right? And so what does the sun get to do in Scorpio season? The sun actually gets to illuminate the intensity of colors. It gets to create pathways of connection with what feels liminal and magical, yet is totally strong and a symbol of regeneration, right? The spider's web. And so what I feel for you, Leo, is that in Scorpio season, there is a lot to feel and there's a lot to be present with. And a lot of what needs us to be present and to feel is hard. There's grief, there's rage, there's confusion, there's outrage, there's despair, there's despondency, there's nihilism, there's apathy, there's all of these things. And if we can allow some space to just be with them. You know, we don't have to identify with them. We can know that feelings change. We definitely want to remind ourselves that feelings change. But if we can just allow ourselves space to be with them, and definitely if we can allow that to happen inside of our relationships and intimacies, particularly with anybody that we're trying to work anything out about home, family, money, intimacy, vulnerability, trust, trauma, psychology, etc. The beingness is the way that we're going to get through it. It's not figuring it out mentally. It's not having a shiny new thing that's the solution. It's not having a silver lining. It's not having a great new idea. It's not a pep talk. It's like, just be. Okay? I'm going to leave it there. That's what I have to say for you for Scorpio season. I hope that feels helpful. It kind of feels a little bit basic, but I'm gonna trust that there's something in this that I know it feels helpful for me. So if that's a Leo thing to say, it's good for me, right? So I hope it's good for you, Leo. In Sagittarius season, I am going to just roll into recording that right now, and I'm excited to offer what I'm going to give to you in Sagittarius season, because what's coming up is a journey, and we are going to take a journey through these retrograde influences. So if you haven't yet subscribed to the channel and turned on your notifications, please do that if you enjoyed this reading, so you get the message when the Sagittarius readings come out. And from now until then, Leo, I just want to say, stick with it. You've got this. Things will change. It is time to dive deep. It is time to appreciate the way that lengthening shadows and growing darkness also illuminate deep, profound beauty and richness of tones. And there is so much to be with right now that has so much to offer. When it comes to finding the ways through circumstances that are actually the ways that water would find, right? So not the ways that have you figuring things out mentally or applying brute force and making something happen, but organically, relationally, in ways that help you follow the flow. But you have to be there and feel in order to find the flow. Okay? I'm sending you all the best in Scorpio season and beyond, Leo. Bye for now. Psst, one more thing. It's me again. Thank you so much for listening. If you're still here and you enjoyed your reading so much that you want to play around with embodied astrology with me, join me sometime for my weekly virtual class, Somatic Space. You can catch me live on Zoom every Monday, where we tune in with the lunar cycle, solar season, and transits for the week ahead, and work with gentle mind, heart, body practices that prepare us to meet what's coming with skill and with style. There's also more going on at Embodied Astrology, including a lovely community, bi-weekly chart reading study groups, and seasonal workshops such as this season's 4-session series with Saed Mansour, Dancing the Political. This series is going to be super powerful with what's coming up in Scorpio season and this 2-month long-lasting Grand Trine in Water. Y'all, this is definitely a time when we need to be as engaged as possible in ways that are also transformative and self-reflective. And that is what Saed's work is all about. And that is what we are all about here at Embodied Astrology. So if you want to learn more about his series, Somatic Space, and what's happening on our calendar here at EA, you can find all the links, you know where, and also visit us at embodiedastrology.com. Okay, that's really all. Bye for now.